All right, this is one of the credit card questions. We're going to go through and figure out the total, how all this works for a month in a credit card, okay, with a credit card. So it starts like this. Find the average daily balance, the finance charge, if the monthly interest rate is 1.5%, and the new balance. So the first thing they ask us for is the average daily balance, all right? So to do that, what we have to do is we have to go through the transactions, right, that they list over here. Okay, so we just have to work through them one at a time. It's really works pretty much the same way you would do your checkbook register. The only difference is this is recording how much you owe the credit card company. So it's a little backwards, positives or negative, because we're recording how much you owe, all right? So the billing date, it says right here is June 12th. So the first day that we start is June 12th. And the previous balance is 7/21/12. All right, now notice we're starting in June, right? So we'll follow that along. That'll matter later, okay? Because we're gonna have to remember how many days are in June, you know? All right, well, we'll get to that. So the next transaction is on June 20th. I'm gonna skip a line here, you'll see why. June 20th, and it's a return for 87.39. Well, remember, this is a record of how much you owe the credit card company. So when you return, you're reducing how much you owe, right? So we're going to subtract the 87.39. And the new amount we get then is going to be 633.73. All right. The next transaction is on the 20th. I'm sorry, the 21st. The one that we buy something for 76.87. When we buy, we're adding to how much we owe them, right? So we're going to add that in. It's going to get us 710.60. The next transaction is on June 28th. On the 28th, we buy something else, this time for 53.95. That increases our debt. Now we add that in. We're up to 764.55. All right. Last transactions is on the 10th of July. We make a payment of $215. Well, making a payment reduces our debt, so we put that in as a negative, and that gets us to 549.55. Now remember that our billing date was the 12th, right? So our next billing date will also be the 12th. Now, in order to figure this out, we're going to need to know how many days each balance was in effect, okay? So this first one, the 7/21/12, started on June 12th, and nothing happened until the 20th, right? The 20th minus the 12th is 8 days, so that one was in effect for 8 days. The next balance is only in effect from the 20th to the 21st. Well, the 21st minus 20 is 1 day. The 28th, so the next one, 28 minus 21 is 7 days. Now you got to think for a minute here. From June 28th to July 10th. Well, June, this is where you need to know. June has 30 days. So there's from the 28th, there's the 20th, 30th, there's 2 more days in June, plus 10, the first 10 days in July. Well, 2 and 10 is 12, right? And this last one's in effect from the 10th to the 12th. Well, that 12 minus 10 is 2 days, okay? And if you want to double check yourself, your days should add up to the number of days in the month, and June has 30 days, so in this case that does in fact add up to 30. All right, so the way you figure out your average daily balance is you take each day times the number of days it was in effect and add all that up. Then you divide by the total number of days in the month, okay? So in this case, this is what we're going to do. 7/21/12 times 8 plus 633.73 times 1 plus 710.60 times 7 plus 764.55 times 12 plus 549.55 times 2. Remember, we had a total of 30 days, so I'm going to add all that up, divide it by 30. This turns out to be 21, sorry, the numerator is 21,650.59 over 30, which is 721.69. You have to round it to the nearest penny, right? That's what I did, 721.69. And if you come over here, you'll see there's the answer to the first question, 721.69. The next question they ask you is, what's the finance charge? Well, they tell us the interest rate is 1.5% per month. So then the finance charge is that interest rate. Well, 1.5% is 0.015 times the average daily balance. Multiply that out, again, round to the nearest penny. And we get $10.83. There it is there, 1083. The last question now is, what's the new balance? Well, the new balance, right, is going to be the ending balance. That's this one over here, right? 549.55. Plus the finance charge. And our new balance total then is 560.38. And that is it for this one.